Alright, let's dive into a story that's equal parts heartwarming and mind-blowing. Imagine this. A 10-year-old girl becomes the unlikely hero in a real-life rescue mission. Not for a cat stuck in a tree, but for a stranded humpback whale. Yeah, you heard that right. A whale. Personally, I think this story is a perfect reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary moments come from the most unexpected places. And what makes this really interesting is how it challenges our assumptions about who can step up in a crisis. A kid? Saving a whale? It's not just inspiring, it's a total flip of the script. Here's the setup. Scarlet, the 10-year-old in question, was out with her mom, Chantel Smith, near Kari, formerly Fraser Island, in Queensland. They were jet skiing, minding their own business, when they stumbled upon this massive humpback whale stranded in shallow water. Now, if you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just a random encounter. Chantel's been visiting this area for 20 years to see the whales, so there's this weird intersection of experience and chance. But what really stands out is Scarlet's reaction. Instead of freezing or panicking, she starts splashing water on the whale to keep it hydrated. In my opinion, that's where the story shifts from, "Oh, that's sad," to "Wait, this is incredible." What many people don't realize is how critical those first moments are in a whale stranding. Whales can't survive long out of water. Their bodies aren't built for it. So Scarlett's quick thinking wasn't just helpful, it was probably a game changer. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. Chantel mentions the whale was talking to us. Now, I'm not sure if she meant literal sounds or just the way the whale was behaving, but either way, it adds this eerie, almost emotional layer to the story. It's like the whale knew they were trying to help. Crazy, right? One thing that immediately stands out is the role of timing here. The tide was low when they found the whale, and they knew it would take hours for the water to rise. So while they splashed water on the whale, they were essentially buying time. But here's the kicker. They had to leave before authorities arrived. Another couple stayed behind, and by the time the tide came in, the whale freed itself. From my perspective, this raises a deeper question. How often do these kinds of rescues happen without us knowing? And how much do everyday people contribute to wildlife conservation without getting credit? A detail I find fascinating is the description of the whale's mouth being wide open, revealing its ballenes. If you're not familiar, ballenes are these cone-like structures whales use to filter food. Seeing them up close must have been surreal. But it also highlights how vulnerable these creatures are when stranded. They're not just big, they're delicate in their own way. What this really suggests is that even small actions, like splashing water, can make a huge difference. Now, let's zoom out for a second. Whale strandings are sadly common, especially in areas like Kari. The creek system there turns into a saltwater lake at high tide, which is probably why the whale got stuck. But what's less talked about is the emotional toll these incidents take on people. Chantel mentioned how the experience ruined the rest of the beautiful day because she was so worried about the whale. That's something I think we overlook, the human side of wildlife rescue. It's not just about saving an animal, it's about the hope and anxiety that come with it. What makes this story stick with me is how it blends luck, instinct, and humanity. Scarlet didn't have a manual for saving whales, she just acted. And that's the kind of thing that makes you wonder, how many of us would have done the same? Personally, I think this story is a reminder that heroism doesn't always come with a cape. Sometimes it's a 10-year-old with a jet ski and a big heart. So here's my closing thought. What if we all approach problems with the same kind of immediacy and compassion Scarlet showed? Not just for whales, but for anything that feels too big or too impossible. This story isn't just about a whale getting rescued. It's about the power of acting when it matters most. And honestly, that's a lesson I'm taking with me. What about you? Let me know in the comments. How does this story make you feel? And more importantly, what would you do if you were in Scarlet's shoes?